Hi everybody, how the heck are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fine. And like always, let me apologize first in case I hear some dogs barking, because we have 10 pit bulls and sometimes they go crazy and sometimes they don't. Right now they're being real good. And so I'm doing some reading here in Hebrews, and I wanted to talk with you guys about this a little bit. Maybe we can look and maybe find some common ground, because I know there's just a tremendous amount of people out there who have been spent their entire lives in a church thinking that they were doing what God wanted them to do. When we do read the Bible, we find that that is quite contrary to what we should be doing. And a lot of things that come up a lot of times is the new covenant. Since I keep the laws, statutes, and commands of our Father, which some would say is the old covenant along with the new covenant, it's one in the same. The covenants are the same, but the new covenant is what people believe separates us from the laws of God. They believe that our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, or as people know him as Jesus the Christ, that it is a new covenant that does not involve keeping the laws, statutes, and commands of our Father. And I was talking to a couple yesterday, and they brought this up. So I thought I'd go over it with you, and let's begin Hebrews 8:1. Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such a high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which Yahuwah pitched and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices. Wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the Torah, who serve under the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moshe was admonished of Elohim when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, says he, that you make all things according to the pattern showed to you in the mount. But now he has obtained a more excellent ministry. And guys, this is the verse where I believe that everybody knows the new covenant, and they know this part of the new covenant. So let's go on. But now he has ordained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. Guys, let's talk about that little piece right there, because people believe that the laws, statutes, and commands of God is what we're talking about here when we say there's a fault. When we say that it was fault, if it had not been faultless, we're not talking about the laws, statutes, and commands of God. You see, in a covenant, there is a two-way street, right? A covenant involves two parties. It involves one party that does one thing and another party that agrees and does the other thing, right? And if you break that covenant, you're out of the covenant. Now, the original covenant was, if you will obey my laws, my statutes, and commands, I will be your God, you will be my people, and we will live in harmony. That is essentially what it is. From the beginning of time, the old covenant is this. If you obey my laws, statutes, and commands. Now, when the Israelites throughout the years, every single one of them broke this covenant, right? They broke this covenant over and over and over. From the days of Moshe, when they brought a golden idol up, and every evil thing that they did as a stiff-necked people, they broke this covenant. So when he is saying in verse 7 right here that that the first covenant had been faultless, then there should no place have been sought for the second, right? If we had obeyed the laws, statutes, and commands of our Father, we wouldn't need our Messiah. We would not need the blood of the Messiah. So the second covenant, let's talk about this. Verse 7. Verse 8. For finding fault with them, he says, behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, when I will make a renewed covenant with the house of Yisrael and with the house of Yahudah. So right here, my friends, when we're talking about a new covenant or a renewed covenant, it's talking about a certain people. It's not talking about Gentiles. It is talking about the house, right? The house of Yisrael and the house of Yehuda, the northern and the southern tribe. And that is who we are. As people, the Bible doesn't define us as religion. The Bible defines us as those who want to obey our Father. If we want to keep the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator, Yahuwah, He would say we are His people and He is our God. And that is who it should be. That is what it has always been. So since nobody kept the first covenant, that is what has been made fault, right? That's the people faulted. The Israelites, everybody, even people up to today, we faulted the old covenant. So how do we get this new covenant? What is with the new covenant, right? Let's listen. Verse 9, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Mitzrayim, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, says Yahuwah. So this is talking about the very first covenant. How, when we're talking about the fault in verse 7, this is what it says. It says these people didn't do this, right? They did not keep my laws, statutes, and commands, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers. So this is going to be a little different. What is this covenant? For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Yisrael after those days, says Yahuwah. Now this is the covenant, the new covenant that everybody talks about, right? Here, how does this begin? What is the covenant? What is the agreement between Yahuwah, your God, your creator, Yad Hey Vad Hey, and yourself? Here it begins. I will put my Torah, my word, what? I will put my Torah into their mind and write it in their hearts. And I will be their Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. Guys, so the new covenant is exactly the same as the old. Because let's finish this up and I'll show you in Deuteronomy. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahuwah, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. Right? This is why I constantly am trying to teach you guys about the Torah and tell you what I know, which I'm only parroting because I've read this book quite a few times. Guys, so this is it. When everybody from the least to the greatest is shouting our Creator's name, Yahuwah, right? When that name is being shouted, that's when this is happening, right? We're supposed to be doing this. We're supposed to be teaching you. You guys are my neighbor. You guys are my family. I'm trying to teach you what I have learned so that you guys can continue on and take off with this. And I can't explain it, but there's a supernatural blessing that takes place when you begin seeking the Father like this. When you begin to care what He cares about, when your heart aligns with His heart, when your body aligns with His ways, that is when you will be blessed. This doesn't come with just, you must keep these things. It comes with supernatural protection that I can't even explain, but it happens. And those who keep the Torah understand exactly what I'm saying. Verse 12, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their Torah-less deeds will I remember no more, right? This is our promise, is that when we keep the laws, statutes, and commands of our Father, He will be merciful even in our unrighteousness, right? Sorry about that. Even in their unrighteousness. And He will not remember this, right? He will not remember the Torah-less deeds anymore. In that He says, a renewed covenant He has made the first old. Now that which decays and waxes old is all ready to vanish away. See, Christians will take that part and they will say it's gone, it's away, we don't want anything to do with that. But let's take a look, quick look here in Deuteronomy. And in Deuteronomy, it's the same thing, right? Right here. When we're talking about the covenant, and we're talking about right here, when Yahuwah Eloheinu shall bring you into the land whither you go to possess it, and has cast out many nations before you. And then he goes through that. And right here, verse 8, because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would guard the oath which He had sworn unto your fathers. has Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you. Know therefore, verse 9, that Yahuwah Eloheinu, he is Elohim, the faithful El, which guards his covenant and mercy with them that love him and guard his commandments. To how long, guys? How long is this? 1,000 generations. We are not at 1,000 generations, guys, since Adam. We are not nowhere near that, guys. We're like 200, I think. So, guys, we are supposed to be keeping his commandments for all generations. The old covenant was broken because they did not want to obey. The new covenant begins with salvation at the cross. It begins with the blood of our Messiah, and it begins to where we start to walk with our Creator and take those blessings that are given to those who keep his law, statutes, and commands. Guys, and there's also curses if you don't. If you hear this word and you still don't continue on and you don't investigate it, guys, I'm only trying to open up doors for you that you will go and open the doors and read for yourself. All I'm saying is exactly what is in the Bible, from the front cover to the end, with no religion attached, with no bias attached, simply because I read it and I want to be a child of God, and I hope that you want to be a child of God. And if you want to be a child of God, it begins with salvation at the cross, taking that blood that has been given to us for the Levitical sacrifice of the animals, because our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, lived a perfect life. He walked the Torah. He never sinned, and that is why that blood is powerful, and that is why you can call upon that blood, and that's why you can call upon his name to be saved. There's only one name under heaven by which you may be saved, and it is not Jesus Christ. It is Yahushua. It is Joshua with a Y. Guys, I hope you guys are listening. I hope a few of you are at least listening. I hope this doesn't just fall on complete deaf ears, but for those who are listening, much love. I'm out.